One lucky nationwide entrant will win $1,000. Ladies and gentlemen of the Alice Army, please welcome Cesar Millan.
Good morning.
Good morning. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you, guys. How are you?
We're great. You have some huge fans in the building. We have our dog owners and just people who are fans of yours from previous television shows. So welcome, and thanks for being on today.
Well, thank you, guys. It's a pleasure. It's good to be back in San Francisco.
Can I begin with a question about dogs, please?
Oh.
I think that's the right thing to do.
What is your favorite brand of dog?
Brand or breed?
Either one is fine.
Well, I grew up with mutts in Mexico, so for me, it's not about the breed. It's about having a relationship with a dog. They're all dogs. They all can give you trust, respect, love, loyalty. So to me, a breed doesn't make what a dog is all about. It's just the spirit of a dog is what I'm in love with.
Do you ever go so far as to recommend that people would get a mutt over a purebred dog? Is that something you...
You know, the funny part about people choosing purebreds over mutt is that people, when they get a purebred, they do research about the breed, but they don't research about dog psychology, and they're all dogs. The point is, you don't have problems with the breed. You have problems that you don't know how to connect with a dog. You know, so dogs learn this way: nose, eyes, ears. And most people want to communicate with a dog: ears, eyes, nose. You know, so they want to have this kind of relationship that you and I are having.
Right.
When a dog sees the whole entire world based on what it smells like.
I've always been fascinated by, the dog with the head out the window, and I guess that makes... I've heard that they can't even see all that well.
They don't have the great sight, great sight. I mean, think about it. When we look for people, how do we find them? Search and rescue, the nose. When we're looking for bombs, how do we find the bombs? Through the nose.
Let me get this straight. So when I throw a tennis ball as far as I can, and my dog takes off after it, it's smelling that thing?
No. I mean, they do follow it. I mean, if you throw it at nighttime, they're going to find it. You understand? You're playing at daytime.
Right.
So you're more likely to trigger the sight. Yeah, but it's best if you nurture the nose more often, because that makes a dog more curious, more relaxed. Even the way he moves is much relaxed. Like they move like this, versus when they move with the eyes, they move very excited. So in reality, you don't want to keep the mind too excited, because the whole entire, especially here in San Francisco, so many smells in the streets.
That is for sure.
So you don't want to overload the brain, and on top of that, people on the street want to, can I pet them? And they're going to make it more excited. Now through the ears are going to keep the brain excited. So it's the smell, the sight, and the sound.
So if you're working with smell, I'm trying to follow your logic here.
Oh, yes.
The problem is dogs like stinky stuff, like poop. So if you're trying to teach a dog a lesson, you give it a flower?
No. Well, you can use the concept of redirecting the dog so he doesn't go towards, or you can just block the dog and not allow him to go after certain scents, right? So listen, you'll be very good at teaching your dog not to touch poisonous stuff. You will be really good not to touching your dog fire. I mean, people put a lot of effort in touching the dog to stay away from, you see? But when it comes to smell, people don't know how to block the brain from keep being attracted by. So you can condition a dog that if he smells certain smell, to actually avoid it.
It's funny that you rank those, because you actually, part of your training is this ranking where, a dog needs exercise first, and then discipline, and then affection.
Well, it's an order of balance. So you can have affection lifestyle and end up nowhere, or you can have exercise, discipline, affection, and end up having a balanced life, right? So you need fitness, you need mental stimulation. What we're doing right now is a job. You need rules, boundaries, and limitations in anything you do.
Right.
And of course, the payoff is the check. So exercise, discipline, affection. You see it?
The check is affection.
Yeah.
I like that. We love you back.
So the thing is, most of my clients, or the reason why I have a job, is because most people want to give only affection.
Right.
So the dog needs exercise. They need to drain energy before you go to work. They need to have a challenge. They need to feel useful. It doesn't have to be a big job.
Right.
They just have to have something to do where the mind gets used. And as they're working, they need rules, boundaries, limitations.
Cesar Millan, the Ghost Whisperer, the Dog Whisperer,
the Ghost Whisperer.
You've been on the Ghost
Cat
Whisperer.
either.
I know. You know it's funny because you hear whisperer in all different things now.
Right.
How did this whole thing start? Did you grow up with dogs? Like, why are you the dog whisperer?
Listen, I grew up on a farm in Mexico, and my grandfather and my father were my role models, and we were the family with 7, 8 dogs. We used to walk the cows for the wealthy at the farm. And so, my grandfather will walk and the pack will follow, and then we have mutts, so we didn't have purebreds. And so the dogs would do the job, so I get to study how they interact. I got to study how they follow my grandfather. I got to study, on a farm, it's only three sounds. For the dog to come, hey, or for the dog to stop, when the dog is far away. Uh-huh. Here in the city, is so many sounds, that my dog follows 300 commands, but he doesn't count when I call him. So the dog is very smart, but he doesn't have good instincts. And so I grew up based on that, always following what my grandfather said, never work against Mother Nature. When I started watching Lassie and Rin Tin Tin, when we moved to the city, I thought that every dog in America were just like Lassie and Rin Tin Tin. So I said, I'm going to go learn from Americans and then go back to Mexico and open my dog training facility. But then when I came to America, I realized that most Americans didn't know how to walk a dog. They couldn't open a door. Right. When I went to the first consultation that I had, I knock on the door, and then the people go, wait! They start screaming, put the dog in the bathroom.
The dog's jumping out the door.
They couldn't open the door.
Right.
It took 20 minutes for people to open the door. So it's a big production to open the door in America.
So you have a new show that you're doing now, and this time you're doing it with your son.
With my first son, which is Andre. He's 22 years old. He's right here.
He's a cute boy.
Yeah, yeah. So we're touring the country. We call it Dog Nation. We're going around the country, making sure that we partner, that we become a pack with other organizations. They're already doing great things in that part of the country. And so we put the spotlight, and we make sure that everybody knows what these people are doing. And at the same time, in the show, I'm going to go visit fans, help them in their homes, helping, what I used to do in Dog Whisper.
Right.
And I also have an element of live demonstration. So we do a live show. People bring their dogs, and we show you transformation right in front of your eyes.
You mentioned a second ago that your clients, but you do TV shows now. You still have clients? You still do private?
I do have a when I have a day off, I get to see people. They really need help. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's my passion, Definitely it has become a job, but at the same time it's what feeds, keep doing what I'm doing.
And then this thing you're doing on Saturday, though, people can bring their dog, and you're doing 2 live shows, which I assume you tape for Dog Nation.
Yeah, it's definitely for the TV show, but we're joining in with the Bay Area Pet Fair, and so it's actually a place where people can adopt dogs. There's going to be hundreds of dogs. Of course, I'm going to share tips how to adopt it. How to adopt the dog that is compatible to you. A lot of times people have the right heart, but they don't have the right common sense.
Right.
So what happens in the dog rescue world? From 10 dogs who are rescued, 6 are returned, because they didn't rescue the right compatible dog for the family.
You're working with Rocket Dog Rescue, who we've done some work with in the past. Is that the only one that you're doing here, or is this larger than that?
It's everything is large, everything makes a difference. So these people are what I love about it is this person was a homeless person. I was homeless when I came to America once. So you find you can get inspired by other situations in life. This person find inspiration by rescuing dogs, and then from that point on, she say, you know what, I'm gonna rescue dogs. Not only rescue dogs, but I'm gonna take the ones who are going to be euthanized.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find inspirations in every situation.
So you are doing this at the Marin Center in San Rafael on Saturday. There's 2 tapings, and they're at, I believe, 11 and 2. There they are. And then it's a town hall event held under the big top, so people can come down. People can just come and watch.
Yeah.
And how do you pick the dogs that you're going to work with that day?
Well, it's like an American Idol moment. We just pick the worst.
Whichever dog you see misbehaving out in the audience.
Yeah, the worst.
So tell us about your son, Andre. How are you fitting him into the show? What's his role?
Oh my goodness! Well, he's definitely my right hand right now, because as you can tell, I can't speak good English.
Oh, please.
That's pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So he helps me a lot, and at the same time, he's actually teaching me about America. I've been in America for a long time, but I never really got to experience it. He does a lot of research. He's the intellectual part of what I'm doing right now. So, and at the same time, he's teaching me a lot of great things that kids his age know more than guys my age. But I keep teaching him, how important it is to earn trust, earn respect, earn the loyalty of people. How I did it, how I did it.
Right.
Why people, love me and how I deal with people who don't.
Are there a lot of those?
No, not a lot. It's a small
good
little
news.
pack.
Hey,
You're jealous.
real quick, Sarah, let's take this call. This has an interesting question
Okay.
for Cesar.
Hello?
Goodness gracious. Kim?
Yes. Good
Hi
morning.
there. You're on with Cesar Millan.
Cesar, I think you're amazing. Your shows I've always watched whenever I had the opportunity. I have a unique situation. I got home last month from a vacation, and I had to have a friend from out of the country put my dog down because of a health issue. My other dog, who's been with her since a puppy, is now 3 years old, but I had a vet come to the house and put her down because I assumed I didn't want her brought away and my other dog not know where she went. So she has been so destructive since the death of her friend. It's been unbearable. I've given keys to neighbors when she's barking uncontrollably. I just went back to work, and my neighbors will come walk her or bring her to their house to entertain her. But as soon as she comes back, she's trying to get out of the house. She's destroying our house. She is just severely depressed. And I was wondering if you're into bring her to a vet to the point where she might need some kind of a sedative or something, but she's never not had a friend, and I'm not ready to get another dog to replace her with, and I'm not sure what to do.
All right, Kim.
Well, medication is definitely something that you can look into it, but you can also increase exercise. I mean, this is where a dog needs a human that can walk for a long period of time and remove all that pent-up energy and start all over again. The fact that the dog wants to escape, is, to me, that says it's not depressed. When a dog gets depressed, he goes and hide. And so this is a dog that is just wanted to, run or walk away from the house. So for me, if you remove some of that physical energy, or you actually challenge the dog a little bit more than usual, the dog is going to go into a resting state or a tired state. Then the dog can start coping a lot better. Remember that our sadness can also influence the dog from wanting to run away from situations. I'm pretty sure everybody experienced, when with coworkers, when the coworkers don't feel good, the energy can affect the pack. And so it's often we don't pay attention how we also project the wrong energy. So remember, it's the body, the mind, the heart.
All right, thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
That's rough, though. I mean, so the dog's just experiencing loss, and this is how
a lot of people, when the dog grieves, they think that the only one is grieving is the dog, but the human also is constantly remembering the story. And poor dog, and poor dog,
Right.
and poor dog. So
Putting out a whole different
Yeah, your
vibe.
house is toxic.
Yeah. Plus, that lady said she just went back to work, so that's probably why the dog.
It was
not
no
getting
good
the
transition.
exercise.
It was no good transition. That's what every time you have a problem, if you don't want to hire anybody or whoever, just increase exercise. Because once you're tired, you don't worry about anything, any problems you have.
time to
just
worry
don't.
about it.
That's right. Just use
Right.
common sense. Just challenge the body. If you don't want to challenge the mind because you feel bad about it, just challenge the body.
Well, Cesar, thank you so much for being on today. You have some big fans. in
Yes,
this
I
building,
do.
Especially
Thank
in
you,
that
San
room
Francisco.
right there.
And I'm happy you won.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
got
are we.
So Dog Nation, they're filming on Saturday. This is a big live taping, a live show at the Marin Humane Society Pet Food Express 6th Annual Bay Area Pet Fair, Marin Center in San Rafael. You'll be there Saturday at 11 and 2 o'clock. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you, guys. God
Thanks,
bless.
Cesar.
Yay.
That was fun.
That was fun. All right, so Monday we were off, and I just wanted to quickly run through the charts.